But the trinkets is the whole reason I think the Imaginary Ends expansion is a must-have for Doomling fans. Who needs more stuff for Doomlings? Well, I do. And you do too. I mean, that trait pile is huge. You can barely shuffle it. So when the Doomlings team contacted me, like, yo, we got an expansion, would you be interested in covering it? I was like, well, yeah, sure, I guess so, because I really enjoy Doomlings, like, a lot. As a matter of fact, I kind of regret the rating I gave it in my review. I gave it a 4 out of 5, and since then, I've just had this unquenchable thirst to play more Doomlings, especially once receiving this expansion. Spoiler alert. So I was like, yeah, sure, send me the expansion, I'll check it out. Really, look at this stack of trade cards. That's huge. Why would you need more cards? But as it turns out, the Imaginary Ends expansion is actually pretty dope. Yes, it does come with some just more of the same, but there's a little bit more there. Actually, a lot of bit more there that I think kind of makes it an essential expansion for Doomlings. For example, this is the original traits pile. And here are the new traits that Imaginary Ends comes with. It's darn near half the size of the original Doomlings trait pile. So that right there adds a ton more replayability and variety just to the game right out the gate. And if you thought this was just the base game Ages cards, no, these are actually all the Ages cards that come in the Imaginary Ends expansion. These are all new Age cards. And this extra deck here of trinkets, we'll get to those in just a bit. It's the best part. So Imaginary Ends comes with 5 collections. There's the Moonlings collection, the Glitterlings collection, the Fuzzlings collection, and the Deeplings collection. Now I know that's only 4 of them, but the Deeplings collection is extra special because those first 3, yeah, they add more cards and a little bit of variety to gameplay, but it's kind of just more of the same. However, the Deeplings introduces what the game calls suppress effects. And basically what suppressing is, you take one of your trait cards and flip it face down and tuck it underneath one of your other trait cards. That card is no longer a trait in your trait pile. Well, it stays in your trait pile, but it's no longer a trait, and it's now worth 1 victory point at the end. So this is a great opportunity to maybe get rid of some of those cards that are going to give you negative points, or maybe a garbage card that one of your friends forced upon you. So the Deeplings are pretty dope. But I have saved the best for last. This deck here of trinkets, part of the Magical Merchants collection, is super rad. These trinkets are kind of like side quests or orders that you can fulfill throughout the game to get extra points. At the beginning of the game, everyone receives 2 of these trinket cards and they choose one to keep, and they will place it face up next to their trait pile. And then the other one, I don't know, it just goes into a discard pile. Each one of these trinkets has a special power. However, these awesome powers that they give you actually suck. For instance, this card here, it says you cannot play red. So while you have this trinket, you can't play red. So I know you might be asking yourself, Beard, well, why would you want that? Well, that's because each one of these has a pocket objective that you have to complete in order to pocket the card. What's up with all the air quotes? I don't know. But this card, all you have to do is simply play 1 purple trait, and then you can pocket this card. There we go again with the air quotes. And by pocketing a card, you simply turn it face down into a pocket pile? Pocket? I don't know what they call it. I forget what they call it. But anyways, you just put it face down next to your trait pile, and now you will score the extra points printed in the lower right-hand corner of that trinket. So there's kind of this weird, like, push your luck sort of risk versus reward mechanism with these trinkets, because some of them aren't that bad. For instance, this one really isn't that bad, and it's simple to achieve, and you'll get 2 extra points that no one can take away from you by the end of the game. However, let's take a look at this one. Let's see, this one. If you play purple, you may draw 1. That's actually a pretty sweet power. And to complete that pocket objective, reveal 1 blue from hand. That's pretty simple. But it's only worth 1 point. So, I mean, 1 point. Let's take a gander at another one. And we're gonna pretend like this is totally random and I didn't know that this was gonna be a red one that's worth 5 points. However, the awesome power that it gives you is you cannot play colorless. That kind of really sucks, but it's worth 5 points. But what do you have to do in order to get those 5 points? You have to reveal 4 different colors in your hand. You don't have to turn them in. All you have to do is show that you have 4 different colors. And depending on what your hand limit is during the game, revealing 4 colors can actually be pretty difficult. And remember, gray is not actually a color, it's colorless. So, And 5 points in Doomling is pretty huge. But the Trinkets is the whole reason I think the Imaginary Ends expansion is a must-have for Doomling fans. And if you play Doomlings, I really don't see how you can't love this game. And that is Imaginary Ends in a nutshell. There is a small tweak to the setup of the age deck. You will include 2 of those merchant-specific ages into each one, along with a normal age and a catastrophe. So just a slight tweak on that setup. And at the beginning of an age, if a player doesn't have an active trinket they're currently working on, they will draw one and add it to their display. This expansion, I don't want to use the word mandatory because base Doomlings is really dope. However, I feel like this really elevates the game to a whole new level. There is such a variety now. You have almost 50% more trait cards, and it's a stack that is actually unmanageable and you can't really shuffle it. So you can give stacks to people and they can all shuffle and mix them around and stuff together as a group. It's a great bonding experience. But the whole merchants and trinket thing is where it really shines. It is so cool having that little extra power, which sometimes sucks, but that extra layer of strategy trying to complete those objectives to gain those extra points is really cool. And it doesn't add like a whole lot of complexity to the game. I feel like you could probably just mix those in with somebody who has never played the OG Doomlings, and it really wouldn't be like that much more for them to learn. It does add a little more randomness to a game that's already kind of random, but it's just like another spinning plate that you got to keep going through during the gameplay. But the gameplay is just as fast and smooth with the expansion mixed in, but with just a touch more complexity and scoring opportunities, which who doesn't love a good scoring opportunity? That was stupid. Should cut that. I think I'll cut that. But all the new cards still have cute art on them, which actually, I think the art might be ramped up just a scotch on the new cards and Imaginary Ends. And each card still has the funny and entertaining quotations on them. The rules for the new sets come on little cards. So, I mean, I guess that's kind of cool because then you can just easily put those cards into the base game box. And the new cards and Imaginary Ends are clearly labeled. So if you do, by chance, want to remove them, it's quite easy to just thumb through the deck and pull them out. But overall, Imaginary Ends makes a great game even greater, and I highly recommend it. And unless somebody really complains, I'm just going to keep all of those cards stuffed together and play with all the extra modules just kind of mixed in there at all times. And that is Doomlings Imaginary Ends. Definitely check it out. And as always, thanks for watching another episode of Rolling with the Beard.